I greet you, dear viewer. My name is Somebody Alex. Welcome to BEA-M Media. This is a vibrant show, Laudato Si. In today's episode, we start by discussing what is Laudato Si asking people to do. Considering the fact that we have done the introduction of Laudato Si, that's why today I would like us to go direct to that question. What does Laudato Si ask people to do? And chapter 6 of Laudato Si outlines steps, actually, if you can say, which a person can take in the process of ecological conversion. And chapter 6, which talks about ecological education and spirituality, just concludes the encyclical with applications to personal life. It recommends a lifestyle focused less on consumerism and more on timeless, enduring values. And it calls for environmental education, joy in one's surroundings, civic love, reception of the sacraments, and an ecological conversion in which an encounter with Jesus leads to deeper communion with God, other people, and the world of nature. So actually that's what's captured when it comes to chapter 6 of the encyclical Laudato Si. These steps include prayer and contemplation, learning more about nature, observance of the Day of the Lord, that's on Sunday, and reduced participation in materialistic forms of consumer culture. And a step as actually simple as giving thanks and actually mealtime. That also is captured in when it comes to Laudato Si, paragraph 227, can be a reminder of integral ecology and an individual's relation to God, nature, and other people. So these three must coexist by all means so that you can say that we have a healthy stay. And most Catholics have positive memories and experiences of nature, but may not have actually connected this with their faith. So the advice in this section can be helpful when it comes to linking spirituality with environmental awareness. And in addition, Laudato Si is clear that many environmental problems extend beyond individuals to broader economic and political systems. This is a fact that can be challenging to think about to us as human beings. Sometimes we fail to understand what really is expected of us. Even if actually every reader of the ecological became environmentally engaged in their personal mindset and lifestyle, this will not be enough to stop problems actually like the climate crisis and the pollution which we encounter each and every day. And that's because the main decisions impacting the availability of renewable energy and sustainable practices are not made by individuals, but by the governments and larger corporations. That's why we have NEMA and other groups and other organizations which work to ensure that the environment, the nature is taken care of. Accordingly, it is important for people of faith to get involved in politics and work strategically for positive changes. Some of this can happen at the local level through the formation of renewable energy cooperatives and similar initiatives. Also, that one is captured Laudato Si, paragraph 179. Other work can be done through non-governmental advocacy groups such as the Laudato Si movement. So we have been invited, each and every one of us, to join this movement which take care of the environment, NEMA being one of them. We support the NEMA initiative by the government to ensure that our environment is taken care of. And also, as we said in our summary in the introduction, that this one should be a personal responsibility before it becomes a subjective responsibility. So what is your participation towards this? And in addition, the encyclical calls on Catholics to enter the arena of national and international politics, pushing back against the incentives for leaders to prioritize short-term gains and instead advocating for policies that support the disadvantaged and advance the long-term common good. Also, this one is captured Laudato Si, paragraph 178. So, brothers and sisters, if we can try to challenge ourselves, what does Laudato Si predict for the future? Because we just build nature, we build the government, the environment for our own good, not for only at this time, but for future. So what does Laudato Si predict for the future? It's also one of our questions which we have to answer and ask ourselves. So Laudato Si describes a wide spectrum of possibilities for the coming centuries. It is praising in its discussion of the threats facing humans and the environment. Many of the problems are surveyed would have been much easier to address actually 30 or 40 years ago, and are now already causing widespread harm. So we don't want this to spread to others time to come. So what can we do for the future? Because if the present is deteriorated, means that the past was not taken care of. So what is our participation to ensure that the future is that much pleasing to each and every one of us? However, the encyclical also offers hope. There is hope out of it all. Both in specific policies it recommends and in its promise of integral ecology, a more fulfilling outlook on politics, the economy, and everyday life. There is hope out of this, and that's why we have the encyclical with us, so that you can learn out of it, so that you can see how to implement some ideas, so that we can have a good and conducive nature to stay in. So as the encyclical states, all is not lost. There is hope out of that. When you hear such a phrase, know that there is hope out of it all. Human beings, while capable of the worst, are also capable of rising above themselves, choosing again what is good, and making a new start, despite their mental and social conditioning. Also, we can get to that one in the Laudato Si letter, paragraph 205. For this reason, although the post-industrial period of the last few decades may well be remembered as one of the most irresponsible in history, nonetheless, there is reason to hope that humanity at the dawn of the 21st century will be remembered for having generously shouldered its grave responsibilities, as it is shared in paragraph 165. We can also consider that ecological conversion is not a purely human process, but an encounter with God, leading to a grace-filled change of heart and mind. It is in this kind of experience which Laudato Si recommends as a way for people of faith to begin moving toward a better and a more caring world. And actually that is our responsibility, each and every one of us, to ensure that we take care of our environment. As we saw up there is that the first chapter which talks about what's happening to our common home. It's a question which we have to ask ourselves at all times. Why are we having Laudato Si here with us? And why did Pope Francis came up with this letter to each and every one of us? Because he realized there is need for us to remind ourselves from other popes before him who have been talking about taking care of nature. Because you remember the creation stories, God created, and wow, it was beautiful for each and every one of us to say, for all the creatures to stay in. But at a time, because of our carelessness, we started making it to deteriorate, more especially when it comes to making it unwell, unfit for us to stay in. So that's why these popes, they have been addressing this vice at all times, and we'll be reminding each other on how to go about it. So also chapter 2, as we saw, that talking about the gospel of creation, and chapter 3, the human roots of the ecological crisis. So what is this? Where is the base of making our nature unworthy for us to stay in? And the integral ecology, that one is captured in chapter 4 of the Laudato Si letter. And also Pope Francis writes in chapter 5 about lines of approach and action. What step are we taking to ensure that our nature is hospitable for each and every one of us as human beings and also other creatures? So what is our participation, our action towards making it? So we don't only talk about it, but we have to show actions out of what we learn when it comes to making our nature conducive to stay. And also chapter 6 talks about ecological education and spirituality. So it's a participation for each and every one of us as human beings to ensure that wherever we're staying, we make our stay good, not only for ourselves, but also for others. And that's why we were created as human beings, to coexist. So it starts from you, it starts from me. Wherever I'm staying, I have to ensure that it's a good place for me to stay so that I cannot be attacked with the diseases. And also this one has to be spread to others as well. So it must start with call it a personal responsibility before it extends to other people as well. So it is our duty, our core role as Christians, as people of God, to ensure that we take care of nature, we take care of Mother Earth. That's the very good phrase which Pope Francis uses when he gives the preamble of the letter, calling it Mother Earth. So brothers and sisters, I believe that we've got something out of this pedagogy. So actually in the next episode, we're going to now start having a look at each and every chapter, starting from chapter 1, what is happening to our common home. Actually, just to give you a teaser of what it concerns, it summarizes the scope of current problems related to the environment. Issues discussed include pollution. That's what we're going to discuss in the next episode. That's chapter 1. Specifically, chapter 1. We're going to talk about pollution. We're going to talk about climate change, water scarcity, loss of biodiversity, and global inequality. That's what we're going to handle when it comes to the discussion of chapter 1 of Laudato Si. So in the next episode, brothers and sisters, that's what we're going to start with. And I believe that we're going to learn a lot out of these teachings which Pope Francis wants us to have it in our daily living. So thank you for watching and following this vibrant show right from here, BEA-M Media. You can get us on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel, or just go to BEA-M Media. You can be able to get us, and also on our website via www.beamedia.com. My name is Alex. I wish you well, and also ensure to take care of nature because it is a personal responsibility. Be blessed.